notes whatsoever. Literally all I've got is my letterboxd open, and I've made a ranked playlist and ordered everything. I love Letterboxd, by the way, so I know something so satisfying and like pleasing about like clicking a poster and ranking it out of 5. But anyway, so yeah, no notes. I'm just gonna speak my mind, and as always, I'll preface this with, this is of course my opinion, and I'd really like you to leave your comments and thoughts and your rankings down below in the comments. We can get some discussion going, but obviously be respectful of everyone's opinions. And what I want to say about MCU, like, what am I trying to say? Like, how opinions differ is, I never really get angry when someone has something higher than I would put it, because a lot of the time, despite not liking the project, I can recognise the positives and the pros of it, the good bits of it, and wants for me to say that a person different to myself has focused more on those positive things than the negatives, and thus had it higher. So it's all about what you look for in movies and the TV shows, and what you get out of it, basically. But enough rambling. Let's just get into it. So I've ranked 15 things. I think that I'm missing What If and I Am Groot. I didn't include I Am Groot because it was sort of just like a one-off. I don't think it was canon. Even if it was, it has no bearing on the MCU. But let me tell you now, if it was on this list, it would not be bottom. I don't even think I'd put it in the bottom 3, to be completely honest, because I actually enjoyed it. And I'm missing What If as well, simply because I didn't finish it because it wasn't for me. But like that kind of style, it just didn't appeal to me, to be completely honest. So I just figured I'd just leave it off rather than putting it super low or whatever. But so at number 15, we begin with She-Hulk. There's no real way of getting around it. This was terrible. It was shockingly bad. And it was a shame because I thought episode 1 was actually super strong, where she was sort of like training with Bruce and stuff, and obviously it's great to get some more Hulk. It was funny, like it made me laugh a couple of times. That post-credit scene with Jen going Captain America, but like it was good. But then it was literally just completely downhill from then. There was one episode I didn't even finish because I think it was the wedding one, because I was just like, why would I waste my time watching this garbage? The CGI just... I know it's a difficult thing to do, but it looked terrible. It literally looked like when you play FIFA like career mode and you negotiate with a player and it gives you like a cutscene of them coming into the office. Like that's what it looked like every single time. And obviously there were good bits, like I did like the way she talks to the camera. I think they nailed her power really well. And the finale was so just mind-boggling that it did redeem the show somewhat. Obviously it raises certain problems moving forward, like if in Secret Wars or whatever, they're beating Kang or Doom or whatever, surely She-Hulk can just leave, rewrite the movie, and then, like, that's it, do you know what I mean? So, and obviously, well, realistically, and I think I'm definitely not alone in this, I was waiting for Daredevil. We were all waiting for Daredevil, weren't we? Like, realistically. And he didn't disappoint from hearing the few, like, teasing seconds of his theme to hallway fight scene. I think he was done well, and he was funny. And, like, I saw a few people had problems with his jokes, but he did make jokes in the Netflix show. it's just easy to forget because generally the show was quite a bit darker. But but She-Hulk, I think it might be the worst Marvel project ever. To be completely honest, it was just terrible. But we'll move on, rant over. Not all the sections will be that long. It's just I have quite strong feelings about She-Hulk. Next we have Ms. Marvel. With this one it's slightly different. I'm not like an avid hater of it, but you know, it simply wasn't for me. The intended audience was clearly people younger than myself. The comedy was very childish and cringy. Even the story, it was like watching a Disney Channel show with powers, essentially. And again, there was cool moments. Her powers looked pretty cool, but it just wasn't for me. I really enjoyed the Partition of India episode. That was really cool with the train and everything. So there were cool elements to it, but simple as that, it just wasn't for me. Oh, sorry. Now move on to the first movie on my list, Black Widow. I've never been a huge fan of Black Widow, and I thought this movie was pretty weak, pretty soulless action sequences, apart from the prison one being quite cool. Obviously we get Yelena, which was like the biggest positive of this movie, and what's David Harbour's character called? Red something? Red Guardian? Is that it? Yeah, something like that. He was cool, and I'm excited for him to return in Thunderbolts. But apart from that, Taskmaster, like one of the coolest, such a cool villain, was done really terribly, to be completely honest. Like, the reveal wasn't shocking, and then some of the CGI was just laughable, but I don't like moaning too much about CGI because I do find it quite tiring that people are just like, oh, Marvel's finished, or this looks so bad, DC's clear, like all of that absolute like rubbish. Yes, some CGI does look worse than others in baseball, but like the MCU's been doing bad CGI for ages. Sometimes it just looks bad, like Black Panther looks awful, but I'm not going to get into that rant again. But yeah, Black Widow, just not good. that's the bottom line. Just not good. There you go. There's my 3-word review. Next we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Possibly the most forgettable MCU villain ever. Even more forgettable than Iron Man 2, for example. But yeah, again, redeeming things, positive things. I really like the exploration of like race and what it would mean for Captain America to be black. Those things were really cool, but I found the more sort of emotional stuff was completely undermined by just the bad villain. I said it in my Black Panther and Wakanda Forever review. An MCU movie is only as good as its villain, which the villain in this was terrible, and it just sort of removes the stakes for me. I'm excited to see US Agent, what's his name, John? Can't remember maybe it's not John. John Walker. I might have just made that up completely. He was awesome. Yeah, the series just didn't do it for me. This is a weird one. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I watched it and I was like, oh well, that's done. Never gonna watch that again. On with my life, kind of thing. So yeah, we'll move on. That was number 12. Now, this is where really, so those 4 are sort of ones I didn't really enjoy that much. So this top 11, from I'd say 11 to maybe 7 or 6 maybe, it's all very interchangeable, and then my top 5 is just absolutely clear, and pretty much set in stone. 11 I have Hawkeye. To be honest, Hawkeye, I just said like a show is only as good as its villain, and the villain only really got revealed in the last episode. Obviously seeing Kingpin was very cool, but I think this movie just had a much better vibe to it than Captain America, what was it called? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like the back and forth between Yelena and Kate and Hawkeye, it was Christmassy, it just felt nice. There was some really cool action sequences, like with BIMTech and things like that. I just think its weakness was the reveal that it was Kingpin in the penultimate episode, and he really should have been in it from the start, and I think it would have been stronger. But I'm excited to see more of Kate. I think that the main strength of this was the sort of conversations had between the main characters, and also there was that heartbreaking scene where Clint goes and visits the memorial, so it did have some much more deeper parts to it. The more I talk about it, the more I sort of want to put it up, but there's just no way that Hawkeye is better than the things I've got in my top 10. So let's get into the top 10. First up, we have WandaVision. This, I think it could have been higher, but for me it was just a little bit slow. I think it had some really cool elements, and obviously stylistically it is fantastic, but for me, yeah, it was just a little bit slow, and the Ralph Boner thing annoyed me, and yeah, I personally really liked the reveal of Agatha. Obviously this was the project where everyone was like, it's Mephisto, but and I mean, Elizabeth Olsen in this was fantastic. When she breaks in to see Vision, and then she finally deals with her grief, and obviously we get Scarlet Witch out of it. The more I think about it, the more I kind of want to move it up, to be completely honest. Oh, this is the thing. Oh, do you know what? Live, I'm going to change it. I'm going to bump it up to 8th. It's going to leapfrog the next two I'm going to talk about. Okay, so I'm going to adjust this after. Because next on my list I had Eternals. I actually didn't hate Eternals as much as most people did. The CGI was beautiful. We got introduced to some really cool characters, but it was just a lot of info dump. It didn't need to be a movie. This would have been so much better suited as a 8-part Disney show, and it could go. It could have started off present day, and then episode 2 could have been in the past, then present day, then in the past, because there were so many like flashbacks throughout the movie. It was just kind of not hard to follow, but it just sort of took you out of it. It was one or two too many flashbacks essentially, but some really awesome characters, and obviously it's teased Black Knight. I've actually rewatched it a few times, and the way I kind of do my rankings as well is how likely would I be to sort of rewatch. That plays a big part in my ranking. I don't hate it, but having said that, I have just bumped it down to 10. And what I've got in 8, now going down to 9, is Loki. The finale of Loki was fantastic, an amazing performance as he remains from Jonathan Majors, teasing Kang and all of that. But again, I think that the main strength of this show is Loki, but realistically the story leading up to the finale, bar maybe the last couple of episodes with the variants of Loki, it's pretty slow. It's not that strong. I love Mobius, but it just, I don't know, it just, yeah. But obviously, like I say, the strengths were Loki when he's rewatching his life, or the life he would live kind of thing. Is awesome, and I'm very excited for season 2. Hopefully they can build on the things that made it great and make it even better, but I still really enjoyed it. got seven left. Now, at number 7, I have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I think this is kind of interchangeable with the one I've got at 6, but I think in terms of rewatchability, my current number 6, I personally would watch it, be likely to go back and watch it again. I loved Multiverse of Madness. I think it was much better the second time round because I, like so many others I'm sure, were guilty of expecting so many cameos. So after the first viewing it's difficult not to be disappointed, but then going back and watching it a second time, you can really appreciate the movie for what it is and for who is in it, and Sam Raimi did a fantastic job at imposing his style. It's so well shot, and yeah, I really liked it, to be completely honest. I don't necessarily think it should have been called Multiverse of Madness because we really only spent time in one other universe. But obviously it's awesome to see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and a sort of smattering of other characters who got wiped by Wanda. But yeah, to be honest, I think it's underrated, to be completely honest. Now, number 6, I have Thor, Love and Thunder. This one's probably going to be a little bit controversial as quite a few people have it lower, but I will preface my thoughts on it by saying I completely understand why people hate this movie. Like, I get it completely. It is ridiculous. The comedy is a little over the top. I say a little over the top, it's over the top. And gore was criminally underused. But I still really enjoyed it. It made me laugh. There were still some deeper elements with Jane's cancer, like heartfelt moments and whatnot. But I feel those heartfelt moments were undermined by the overuse of comedy. I think Ragnarok was just in the sweet spot, just the right amount of comedy with the killer moments. I think Thor: Love and Thunder completely overdid it with the comedy, but I still really enjoyed the movie. Christian Bale, what we got of Gore was still incredible, and had we got just like 2 or 3 more scenes, he could have been a top tier villain, to be completely honest. He's literally called the God Butcher, but we see him kill literally one god. We see him kill loads of gods on screens and stuff, but show us 2 of those scenes. Like, build up the fear in him kind of thing, build up the stakes. That's really what it was missing. So if it built up those stakes and cut down on some of the jokes, this would have been an amazing movie. Because aesthetically it looked pretty good, but I think Love and Thunder, it's just like a fun time. Don't take it too seriously. You can just put it on, chill out kind of thing. It's definitely not an MCU project to be taken seriously. So yeah, I've got Thor: Love and Thunder at number 6. So we move into my top 5 now. And like I said, this is pretty set in stone, to be completely honest. I think these 5 projects are pretty clear of the rest. But let's get into it. So at number 5, I have Werewolf by Night. I'm just going to quickly mute my laptop. So, I actually only watched this for the first time a few days ago, and I absolutely loved it. I really hope Marvel do more special presentations. I loved the black and white aesthetic. It was like a real throwback to old style of horror movies, and then apart from the red from the Bloodstone, it was just beautiful to look at, and it was a perfect example of how to get you interested in characters in a short amount of time. I already want more Jack. I want more of Man-Thing. And I forgot the woman's name, but she was really cool as well. And they were all like cool characters in their own right. I just think it was brilliant. It was 45 minutes, and it was just thoroughly enjoyable. Michael Giacchino did a fantastic job. It was really great. No negatives really from me. So now we move into number 4, and I have Moon Knight. Moon Knight by a substantial way was my favourite MCU Disney Plus show. Oscar Isaac was just absolutely phenomenal in this role, switching between the personalities. The Moon Knight action sequences were really cool. The finale actually was kind of like the biggest scale, like a giant Khonshu like fight in the background, and like I love Ethan Hawke, but I'd say Harrow wasn't like the most compelling villain in the world. But I mean, I can look past that because of the level of character development we got for Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight, like the trauma behind the creation of Stephen, and oh wow, I've literally forgotten the other main personality's name. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? I literally rewatched it the other day, you know, when you're just having a complete blank. Mark Spector, that's it. It was fantastic, and finding out why he developed those personalities was absolutely heartbreaking. And yeah, the main strength of this series definitely was Oscar Isaac's performance. But overall, it was just a great series. I think I've watched it through 2 or 3 times, maybe. Yeah, 3 times. And I just think it's great. The music, the Moon Knight theme is fantastic as well. So yeah, that is Moon Knight at 4. So now, in my top 3, I obviously have 3 movies. And this was difficult. Again, I feel like I keep mentioning that I said this in my Black Panther 2 review, but I said Wakanda Forever was rivaling being that top 2, but it hasn't. I've got it at number 3. It was a beautiful, beautiful movie with a fantastic storyline. Shuri's character arc and development was amazing. Namor was a fantastic villain. There aren't too many flaws in this movie other than the final battle was quite short, and the whole what's it called, stories with Agent Ross and Val were just not needed and just took you out of what was going on in Wakanda. Like, nobody cares about Val. I know they've got to set stuff up, but yeah, they were the main weaknesses. But the score in this is the best in MCU Phase 4. The score and soundtrack, I would say, are definitely the best in Phase 4. Yeah, it's an incredible movie, but just doesn't get near the top 2 now. What order am I going to have these 2 in? Well, at number 2, I have Spider-Man No Way Home. Meaning at number 1, I have Shang-Chi. Now, as a sort of more self-contained, self-reliant story, Shang-Chi is the better movie. It is, apart from like the appearances of Wong and whatnot, it is what you see in the movie is all you sort of need to understand, whereas No Way Home obviously has a great arc for MCU Peter, but obviously it does rely on those appearances of previous characters, and I'm not just talking the Spider-Man, I'm talking about the villains. Obviously they're not just random cameos, they are part of the plot. But for me, I just don't think the plot is super, super strong. There is a part in No Way Home, in sort of like the middle, where it's just a bit slow, and you have to admit, like, rather than watching the movie, like wanting to watch the movie again as a whole, you're waiting for certain moments. So the fight with Green Goblin and his spider sense, and then the Spider-Man appearing in the final battle. Like, there are just some parts in Shang-Chi slightly. I'm not saying it relies on cameos, that is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying as a story, I find Shang-Chi far more compelling, and Shang-Chi just has a greater rewatchability for me. No Way Home was an event. It was just an absolute incredible event. I went on premiere day, so I had nothing spoiled, and I was in tears. It was just amazing. But I actually think I've rewatched Shang-Chi more than No Way Home. I loved it first time watching it, loved it second time, bought it on Blu-ray, and I just seem to never get tired of watching it. The action sequences in this are, the choreography is by far the best we've ever had in the MCU. Death Dealer, that fight with Death Dealer, the bus scene, and then obviously the final battle just looks beautiful. The CGI and the sound effects for the 10 rings was so good, and I really can't wait to see some 10 rings action, him actually fighting other villains with the rings, because it was just so cool. I think the characters in Shang-Chi are fantastic. The comedy is on point, and then there is the villain, what's his name? Wenwu, is that his name? The Mandarin, the real Mandarin. Really cool. And even the CG, the Great Protector, I don't know. Just something about this movie from start to finish just is so compelling. It doesn't take ages to get going, despite being an origin story. You're learning about Shang-Chi's background while the plot is progressing, which is just something I love. And it's just a better way of doing it, of establishing characters. But yeah, I'm so excited to see more of Shang-Chi, but obviously No Way Home, as a Spider-Man fan, there won't ever be anything like it, to be completely honest, but Shang-Chi just gets the top spot for me for Phase 4. So, that is it. Please do leave down below your thoughts and what your rankings are. Maybe let me know your top 3 and what was your worst Phase 4 project. What are you never going near ever again? But yeah, super excited for Phase 5 and 6. Let's see. I think actually, if you take a step back, Phase 4 was super strong, and you can maybe argue it was stronger than Phase 2. Maybe the series limited slightly, but the movies we got were actually really strong, and I think it's potentially better than Phase 2 personally. But let me know about that down below. But thank you, all of you, so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, then please give it a like and subscribe if you're new. But until the next time, guys,